Hello, hello, scrapping friends. It's Jen. Today I'm putting together a layout, just a one-page 12 by 12 layout, based on a sketch that I found on October Afternoon's blog. So here's the sketch. And what drew my attention to this sketch was really a photo that I've had in my stash that I've wanted to get scrapped for a while now. And that's this picture of my son from last year's Super Bowl. So it's about time I get the page done. And as you can see, he fell asleep. He was so sick for the Super Bowl, and he tried so hard to stay up and watch it, but inevitably fell asleep, and he took his glasses off, and I just thought this was just a precious picture of him, and he's wearing his Hines Ward jersey. And it's a good thing he fell asleep because the Steelers lost the Super Bowl last year, so it was no fun to watch the ending. But in any case, I thought that this sketch would work well for that one particular photo. It's not often that I do a 12 by 12 layout for just one picture, but I really thought this memory was worth preserving, and I thought the perfect title for the page would be Super Sick for the Super Bowl. So let me show you what I've pulled out of my stash to put on this page. And again, it was an October Afternoon kind of challenge sketch, so I thought I would go in my October Afternoon stash and pull some papers, because I tend to purchase a lot of October Afternoon paper and hoard it. Okay, so let me show you what I've pulled so far for this layout. And I'm actually reshooting this portion of the video because I was starting to go through and give the name of each collection, October Afternoon collection, that the pattern came from, and it was just taking entirely too long. So I'll just give you a brief overview of what I've pulled, and if you have a question as to where a specific pattern came from, just leave a comment below the video or on my blog, and I'll go ahead and reply with what it is. So I basically went through all of my October Afternoon collections and pulled anything that I could find with black, shades of black, charcoal gray, yellow, gold, those kind of things. And of course there's a lot of cream in here just because that's the background that October Afternoon uses for their papers. So you can see I have quite a variety here. Lots of fun papers. I'm just kind of giving an overview. And one of my favorite papers I found was this, and I'll kind of take a moment to show you. Again, my son was wearing Hines Ward's jersey in this picture, which is number 86, and I found an 86 on here. And if you're a Steelers fan, you know that number 7 is Big Ben Roethlisberger, and number 43 is Troy Polamalu. So three really popular Steelers players, and I thought, how cute would those look on little pennants hanging down from the banner, each of those 3 numbers. So that's the idea I have for this paper. I thought was clever. I also pulled a couple of papers in that had maybe, or embellishments that had a little bit of splash of another color, so maybe a stripe or something like that I may try to work in to the banner just to add a little bit more of a pop of color. And then on this one there's a J. My son's name is Jack, and I thought maybe that could be a banner. I'm not sure. So just pulled a bunch of things. Not sure if I'm going to use all of them or portions of them. But one paper I wanted to share that I was so tickled when I found is, this is either from Ducks in a Row or Cherry Hill, I think. But there's a little story about the Sandman coming and a little boy falling asleep. And I thought, how cute would that be to cut out each line of the story and maybe use that as journaling or incorporate it somewhere on the page, because it's cute about, the Sandman coming and a little boy trying to stay awake but just can't. And I thought that was appropriate for this picture. And I haven't decided yet. Initially, when I matted this photo, let me make sure I've got it in, you can see I left a larger space at the top because I thought I might actually dangle the photo from the banner on the page. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do that or have it stand alone as the sketch did. So jury's still out on that one. Let me show you what other things I pulled for this page. A bunch of Sizzix framelets. Stephanie Bernard came out with a design for banner. So there's a straight triangle and then a scallop triangle, and these nest in all different sizes. And you can see I was lucky enough to get her autograph. I bought them from her at a scrapbook convention, so I was happy to have those. And in the sketch, you'll see they didn't use triangle pennants, they used semicircles. So I also pulled my circles, and then I pulled my star framelets as well. So I may incorporate some of those along the way into the sketch. I also pulled, this is a Lifestyle Crafts die set, and it's meant to give a faux banner. In other words, you cut the banner line out with cardstock instead of using a twine or string. So I may use that, I may use twine, I'm not quite sure yet. But it comes with these little banner pieces. I don't know if you can see here, they're kind of wavy. Well, that one is straight. but I really liked this one. And I thought I might cut this out in yellow cardstock and maybe texturize it a little. If you're a Steelers fan, you know the terrible towel is kind of a big deal for us, and so I thought maybe that would give the illusion of some terrible towels hanging on the banner. So not quite sure if I'm going to use those yet, but pulled them just in case. And then I have some floss. I've got some golden white colored floss, and then I have some gray. So if I decide not to use a cardstock and actually use a twine, I'll probably use one of those. So that's what I've pulled so far. I may add other things as I go along, possibly some ink and chalk as well. So I think we're ready to at least start putting this page together. Okay, I did a little work off camera because I went through a lot of those papers to try and decide what I was going to put on the banner. And I actually decided to end up keeping it pretty simple. Now, once I have it on the page, I may embellish it a little more. But I did cut out the numbers that I had intended from the one sheet of paper and mounted them onto a banner cut out with a Lifestyle Crafts, an old Quick Cuts die. It's a 4x4 banner die, and I used that star paper. Added a little chalking ink, and that's going to really be the foundation of the banner. Then I'm going to kind of filter in these little yellow pieces that I cut with my Sizzix Framelits triangle die. So I may embellish it a little more once I get it mounted to the page, but that's going to be the core foundation of the banner. And then for the photo element, or the page element, I kept the picture, and I ended up scoring a line. You can see that across the top, and using just my Tim Holtz tiny attacher, 2 staples so that we could open this one up. And on the second page, I cut out the Sandman story from the 8x8 piece of paper, and when I put it on the black cardstock, it seemed to just stick out a little bit too much. So I pulled out my buttermilk sprinkler, and I just sprayed that first, and then I adhered down the Sandman story, and I just cut out 2 of the little boys. So I thought that that was cute, and I added a label that I found on one of the sticker sheets from a collection, but I thought that that was really just a cute little touch, kind of a little secret spot that you might not think to look at on the page. So I intend to mount this in the lower, let's see, right-hand corner of the page, and then I think instead of having my banner go straight across like it does in the sketch, I think I'm going to have it come up this way and then down to the right a little bit. So I'm going to play around with getting this banner onto the page, and then we'll be back with the next step. Okay, I'm almost done assembling my page, but I just wanted to take a second and show you quickly how I get ink on little pieces like this. I've cut some stars, whoops, sorry, just to add to my banner. I've assembled the banner. I'll show it to you in a minute, but it seems a little bit plain, which I like the clean and simple look, but I thought these might help embellish it. So I use this fantastic stick. They're made by Tsukineko, but they really help put chalk on small spaces when you can't get your cat's eye or your chalk pad into them. So basically, you just dab your Fantastic, which is just a sponge tip, onto your chalk, get a little bit there, kind of start off the item and then work your way on. And this is just kind of a sloppy chalking job I'm doing here. I'm not worrying about it being too neat. I just wanted to tone down this cream color in the stars that I cut from the crossword puzzle paper. So I just thought this would add a nice little touch to the page. So see how easy it is to get into those nooks and crannies, which you don't have as much control if you're using the larger chalk pad, and you tend to have a hard time getting in the little creases and crevices. So these I picked up at Michael's. You can get them pretty much anywhere. Again, they're made by Tsukineko, and they're called Fantastic. Oops, sorry. Okay, I've done quite a bit of assembly on my page, and it is nearly complete. I just wanted to show you where I am at this point. You can see I kept the banner pretty simple, although I'm going to add those stars to embellish it in a moment. I added my title with a Tim Holtz for Sizzix Alterations die called Chip Block. Super sick for the Super Bowl. The 4D are the October Afternoon mini market stickers, but the letters were cut with the Tim Holtz alphabet, and I love that die. It's a decorative strip, and it cuts just a little bit distressed, so the edges aren't quite perfect, and I purposefully adhered them to the page just a little askew, just to make it a bit more interesting, and I really like the effect of that. I went ahead and added my journaling on the underside of the photo, and then of course I still have my Sandman story underneath. So I like how the banner went together. I did add some adhesive underneath the pieces just to keep it from moving too much, and I had attached the twine with my Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher stapler, but it looked a little plain up in this corner, so I kind of went through my October afternoon buttons, found a goldish yellow one, and that's what I used for the embellishment. I also found a label and just put the date on it. So just give you a few close-ups here, and then we'll add those stars for embellishments, and hopefully that will complete the page. Okay, I think my page is complete. I went ahead and adhered the small stars that I cut using the very smallest star in the Sizzix Framelits set, and that cut out just wonderfully. I didn't pay attention to the numbers on the crossword puzzle paper as far as whether or not they corresponded with any particular Steeler players. I don't think they do, but I just wanted to add a little bit more of a whimsical touch to the banner, since the banner seemed a little bit too orderly. I really can't help it. I tried to do a haphazard banner, but I have to have a sequence, so a goal of mine is going to be to go ahead and do a random banner at some point. But for now, I'm happy with the result. I kind of stuck to that black, gray, gold, and cream color scheme, and I think that it worked out really well. So thanks to everyone for watching, and special thanks to October Afternoon for issuing such a great challenge. I'll give a few close-ups, and then I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. See you next time.